So right after the vice presidential debate last night, Donald Trump Jr., former President Donald Trump's son, came out and said that Vice President Kamala Harris and Joe Biden should put Donald Trump in charge of the disaster relief, and they should be begging him for his help. Why? Because one of the things Donald Trump did right after the hurricane and everything was going through is he made a phone call to Elon Musk to try to get more things rolling with the Starlink internet service that Musk provides, and basically said, well, jo- um, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris aren't doing enough to send federal funds to the area, but they send money to Ukraine. That money should have gone to people here in the United States that needed disaster relief, which is a typical Republican talking point. But that's what he's out saying, that they need to be begging him to be in charge of this disaster relief. Well, first of all, we can do two different things. We can write two different checks. That's how the government works. We can send money to Ukraine while we use the money that's already been allotted out of the FEMA budget to help people here at home. So that's not a thing. We can do two things at once. And beyond that, the White House is already saying that there were efforts in place to already get the Starlink internet access to the people in the affected areas before Donald Trump called Elon Musk. And we have seen what Donald Trump's disaster relief efforts look like. Remember he went down to Puerto Rico, didn't even know he was in charge of Puerto Rico, that he was the president of Puerto Rico, said he was going to call the president of Puerto Rico, have a good conversation, and he was tossing paper towels to people. He was withholding aid, uh, multiple times because they weren't red states, and he said he would withhold federal aid to Gavin Newsom in California for wildfires if he was president, if he didn't sign some kind of papers. I'm assuming that was a loyalty oath of some kind. And that's how Donald Trump operates. Um, you know, Donald Trump wouldn't do anything to help this situation. This is just a Don Jr. talking point in a way of getting him, you know, to say that, oh, they're not doing enough. It's just very weird. It shows Don Jr. doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how the government works, and that's not something you do. We have people in place already that already know how the agencies work, that are doing the jobs. The money's already being released, and Joe Biden hasn't ruled out calling Congress back in for a special session to pass more funding if needed. And some of the senators have already said that they would do that. I did a video about that yesterday. So Don Jr. coming out saying that Donald Trump needs to be put in charge of disaster relief is ridiculous at best. He's just weird, and I don't know how anybody takes Don Jr. seriously. I don't know how anybody takes Donald Trump seriously when they do things like this. That's just not how things work. We've seen how Donald Trump handles disasters. It is not a good plan. And just because Donald Trump made one phone call does not mean he did great at disaster relief and helping people in the affected area.